Greetings, CCSW cadets. Welcome to Justice and Culture. Our premise: a great legacy is paved by unselfish acts. A great legacy is paved by unselfish acts. Philosophy: don't despair. Through hard trials, through tribulation, we've been rebuked, living with scorn. When I keep trusting God is faithful, He will deliver no matter how torn. Don't look back, don't turn around, climb the stairway to holy ground. Feast on truth, convert the plantation, call out the haters, end discrimination. Gotta have water, gotta have air, blood is red, don't despair. Dr. Sterling Lands II, 1992. Principle: Crispus Attucks. Today, Crispus Attucks' name tops the name of the five carved in the monument of granite and bronze erected to commemorate the historic Boston Massacre. Crispus Attucks, 1723 thereabout to 1770, shed the first blood in the struggle for American independence, the first to defy and the first to die. Attucks has been described as the leader in voice when in 1770 he fell before the bullets of the British on Old King Street. Years later, John Adams wrote, "On that night, the foundation of American independence was laid." You have to wonder and question, what exactly did he mean by foundation of American independence was laid? The occasion of the death of Attucks and several other colonists became known as the Boston Massacre. Little is known, however, about the first black patriot prior to that fateful night, except that he was born in Framingham, Massachusetts, had escaped from his master some 20 years earlier and secured work as a seaman. An account of his burial in the Gazette and Country Journal refers to him as a stranger. He is described by the same newspaper as being 6 feet 2 inches high, short curled hair, his knees nearer together than common, and was known to the townspeople as the mulatto. Sounds like a great movie. The Boston Massacre marked a turning point in the relations between England and the 13 colonies. The smoldering resentment of the late 1760s was to turn into open hostility and conflict. George III and his minions understood little of frontier America and failed to see that it was not an English borough but a developing nation. In the manner of all tyrants, they dispatched troops to quell the rebellious colonists. Soon, Boston and other cities were filled with British troops and tension began to mount. Street brawls and tavern fights marked the winter of 1770. At approximately 9 o'clock on the night of March 5th, 1770, as a result of a call for help from a beleaguered British sentry, 7 soldiers representing the might of King George III paraded toward the Commons with bayonets. As the soldiers drew near, Attucks yelled, "The way to get rid of these troops is to attack the main guard." Great strategy. Gotta attack the main guard. The Americans let loose a shower of sticks and stones. "Do not be afraid," they shouted. They dare not fire. The soldiers fell back. Suddenly, there was the crackle of rifle fire. Tall, distinguishable by his color, and in the front ranks, Attucks was the first to fall. As a symbol of resistance to tyranny, Attucks' death placed him among the immortals. Today, his name tops the names of the 5 carved in the monument of granite and bronze erected to commemorate that historic night in the Boston Common. Police encounter. We should never have to fear the police in the society that we live in. We should expect the police to protect us and serve us in the society that we live in. The Apostle Paul admonishes us to obey the authorities because God is the one who put them there. All governments have been placed in power by God, so those who refuse to obey the laws of the land are refusing to obey God, and punishment will follow. The authorities should not frighten people who are doing right, but they frighten those who do wrong. So do not break the law and you should get along well. Authorities are sent by God to help us. Get that, underline that, highlight it. Authorities are sent by God to help us. Boy, that looks crazy. But if we are doing something wrong, of course, we should be concerned. We will be punished. The authorities are established by God for that very purpose, to punish those who do wrong. So you must obey the law to keep from being punished and to keep a clear conscience. Got it? Official interaction with the police is a serious matter. We all recognize the need for effective law enforcement. Police are human. As a result, they are not perfect or infallible. Respect the office of the police, even when the police officer is wrong. Citizens of the United States of America have certain rights under the Constitution and in keeping with civility. Due process is the right of every citizen. I said due process is the right of every citizen. You have the right to courteous and respectful police treatment. If your rights are violated, don't try to deal with the situation at the scene. Discuss the matter with the attorney, your attorney, afterwards, or file a complaint with the Internal Affairs or Civilian Complaint Board. What you say to the police is always important. Pay attention. What you say can be used against you, and it can give the police cause to arrest you, especially if you are profane or vulgar. You don't have to incriminate yourself or answer a police officer's questions, but you must show your driver's license and registration when stopped in a car. In certain situations, you can legally be arrested for refusing to identify yourself to a police officer. You don't have to consent to any search of yourself, your car, or your house. If you do consent to a search, it can affect your rights later in court. If the police say they have a search warrant, ask to see it. Ask to see it. Do not interfere with or obstruct the police. You can be arrested. What to do when approached by police when they may or may not be representing God determines immediate and long-term consequences. Pay attention. If the police knock and ask to enter your home, you don't have to admit them unless they have a warrant signed by a judge. Ask to see it. However, in some emergency situations, like when a person is screaming for help inside or when the police are chasing someone, officers are allowed to enter and search your home without a warrant. If you are arrested, the police can search you and the area close by. If you're in a building, close by usually means just the room you are in. If you're stopped by the police, be polite and respectful. Never badmouth a police officer. There's no need for profanity. It doesn't do you any good, doesn't help your cause. Stay calm and in control of your words, body language, and emotions. Don't get into an argument with the police officer. Remember, anything you say or do can be used against you. Keep your hands where the police can see them. Don't run. Don't touch any police officer. Don't make any quick moves. Don't resist even if you believe you are innocent. Don't complain on the scene or tell the police they're wrong or that you're going to file a complaint. Don't do all that foolishness. Do not make any statements regarding the incident. Ask for a lawyer immediately upon your arrest. Remember the officer's badge, and remember the officer's patrol car numbers, the badge and the patrol car numbers. Write down everything you remember ASAP. Try to find witnesses and their names and phone numbers. Remember, you can also have your phone recording. Use it. Use it for something useful. If you're injured, take photographs of the injuries as soon as possible, but make sure you seek medical attention first. You want to have that record. If you feel your rights have been violated, file a written complaint with the police department's Internal Affairs Division or Civilian Complaint Board. If you're stopped for questioning, it's not a crime to refuse to answer questions, but refusing to answer can make the police suspicious about you. Police may pat down your clothing if they suspect a concealed weapon. Don't physically resist, but make it clear that you don't consent to any further search. Ask if you are under arrest. If you are, you have a right to know why. Don't badmouth the police office or run away. Even if you believe what is happening is unreasonable, that could lead to your death. If you're stopped in your car, upon request, show the officers your driver's license, show your registration, proof of insurance. In certain cases, your car can be searched without a warrant as long as the police have a probable cause. To protect yourself later, you should make it clear that you do not consent to a search. It is not lawful for police to arrest you simply for refusing to consent to a search. If you're given a ticket, sign it. You can always fight the case in court later. If you're suspected of drunk driving and refuse to take a blood, urine, or breath test, your driver's license may be and can be suspended. If you're arrested or taken to a police station, you have the right to remain silent and to talk to a lawyer before you talk to the police. Let me say that again. You have the right to remain silent and talk to a lawyer before you talk to the police. Tell the police nothing except your name and address. We often just talk too much. We say too much. Don't say anything but your name and your address. Don't give any explanations, excuses, or stories. You can make your defense later in court based on what you and your lawyer decide. Yeah, within a reasonable time after your arrest or booking, you have the right to make a local phone call. Call to a lawyer, bail bondsman, or a relative or any other person. The police may not listen to the call to the lawyer. Sometimes you can be arrested without bail or have bail lowered. Have your lawyer ask the judge about this possibility. You must be taken before the judge on the next court day after arrest. Do not make any decisions in your case until you have talked with a lawyer. That's a lot to think about, isn't it? Well, do so while you answer these questions. Why is it important to be careful about what you say to the police? What information are you required to show the police? License, insurance, registration. What are your rights regarding police search of your belongings? What should you do when approached by police in your home? What should you do if the police stop you? What should you do if you're stopped by the police for questioning? What should you do if the police arrest you? Why is it unwise to argue or fight with the police on the scene? What steps should you take if you believe you're a victim of police profiling? How does the philosophy story in this lesson relate to the principles and the justice? Talking about justice in culture. Take some time, just discuss it, answer the questions, really put some thought into it, people. Have a great one.